The content of this podcast has not been evaluated by Health Canada or the FDA. It is educational in nature and should not be taken as medical advice. Always consult a qualified medical professional to see if a diet, lifestyle change, or supplement is right for you. Any supplements mentioned are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Please note that the opinions of the guests or hosts are their own and may not reflect those of Advanced Orthomolecular Research Incorporated. Welcome to Supplementing Health, a podcast presented by Advanced Orthomolecular Research. We are all about applying evidence-based and effective dietary, lifestyle, and natural health product strategies for your optimal health. In each episode, we will feature very engaging clinicians and experts from the world of functional and naturopathic medicine to help achieve our mission to empower people to live their best lives naturally. This episode of Supplementing Health is sponsored by AOR's Superfocus. It offers a balanced combination of botanicals and vitamins to both stimulate and calm the mind without the jittery feelings associated with energy drinks. In a world of overstimulation and pressure that taxes our mental faculties, Superfocus is a reliable alternative for anyone looking for a focus or performance boost. Hello and welcome back to Supplementing Health. I'm your host, Cassie Price. Today, I'm very excited to be chatting with Chris Bunker, a local marathon runner who has gone from living a life where health was not at the forefront to a man who has fine-tuned his body for optimal performance. Welcome, Chris, and thanks so much for joining me today.
Good morning, Cassie. Thank you. I'm looking forward to chatting with you and sharing my journey. So yeah, looking forward to it. Thanks for having me.
So the first question that's kind of been plaguing me since I knew that we would get to have this chat is, what was the catalyst for you getting started on your marathon journey?
You know, it's been a 2.5 to 3 year journey for me personally. It actually started when my aunt unfortunately passed away with Alzheimer's in Philadelphia, and from there, really, I decided to do my first 10K run and raise some money for the local Alzheimer's Society of Calgary here. And it just kind of went on from there. Did my first 10K, raised almost $3,000 through the help of friends and suppliers. And that just kind of set me going from there, and one thing led to another. So yeah, it's been quite an exciting 2.5 years, and I feel totally different.
So what does your training regime look like then?
Okay, so I started with just with a 10K. It was quite a feat for me, and then kind of building on it from there through the local community, through running, meeting different people, focusing on heart rates, keeping that to an optimal level before obviously the lactic acid kicks in. Make sure your body is completely refueled with electrolytes and salt to avoid muscle cramps, and just basically get the respiratory system working in its full capacity.
So did you do all of your own research and studying to get to where you are, or have you worked with professional trainers, or how did you go from, couch potato to marathon, essentially?
Yeah. Good question. Yeah. Well, it's interesting. Like the local community here, the running community, the triathlon community here, which I'll get to in a second, has been a fantastic resource. It actually started from a local chiropractor here in Calgary. I was having some issues with my back due to me training for a 10K, and then putting me in touch with a local running store here, looking at how I run, looking at my wear and tear on my shoes, to custom orthotics, to then being introduced to a gentleman here that definitely put me on the right track in regard to the training and what I need. So all the people here in the running community or the triathlon community, they just want to help you. There's such a great resources, and they just want to share their stories and obviously help you reach your goal, whether that's running your first 1K or 5K or 10 or marathon or Ironman, whatever the case may be. Everyone is super, super helpful.
what kind of things did you learn about diet and nutrition that have helped you further your abilities?
Yeah, good question. So basically, over the last 2.5 years here, when I was leading up to a 10K, I completely switched, the way I eat and the way I look at certain things. A good part of that is I'm down 58 pounds in total. When I put my older clothes on now, like I just can't believe it. So as far as the nutrition goes, I'm really, really careful with what I'm putting into my body, because obviously what you do put into your body fuels you. So that could be fuels you for a run, a bike ride, or a swim, or whatever that may be. And I'm definitely more on the vegan side now. So I'm certainly not 100% vegan, but I'm watching what I'm eating all the time, from typical, should I say, pub food or something like that, to making just healthier choices, which fuels me to reach my goals here moving forward.
What would you say the biggest change is that you've noticed along your journey here?
For me personally, just feeling better, more energy. I know many people say that. I'm 2.5 years in now. I can't remember the timeline on it in regard to changing the cycle. I went out for lunch actually with a customer yesterday. Chose to have a plant-based burger rather than a bun or even a gluten bun. I chose to have a lettuce wrap instead of fries. I had some yam fries. Just making different choices like that rather than feeling, stodgy for the rest of the day and full. And that enabled me to go on a 52K bike ride later on in the afternoon, rather than just coming home, sitting on the couch, eating a typical sort of dinner, rather than just thinking about it and just kind of stepping ahead of the game in regard to the grocery list and just kind of meal planning, rather than just grabbing a lot of the processed stuff just out the freezer, which, hey, I was part of that.
Yeah, I think lots of us definitely fall into that trap for sure.
Absolutely do. And I don't mean to sound funny here, but when I do go groceries now, I tend to sometimes look in people's carts and I'm like, oh my lord, And I was one of that. So I'm certainly not throwing them under the bus, not at all. I was part of that. My family support has been amazing too. My wife's been on this journey too. She's down considerable weight as well, and we both fit. So I'm lucky that way in regard to, it's not just one doing it, where it can make it difficult in your food choices in the evening and your suppers, etc. If you're both doing it, your whole family's on board. It's kind of one shoe fits all at the dinner table rather than making 2 or 3 different suppers. So everyone's been amazing. So I just want to put a shout out to my wife there. She's been great.
That's fantastic. Does she run with you ever?
No, she's not. She's not really a runner. She's more of a. She does a lot of Zumba.
Oh yeah, yeah.
She does some yoga as well. But we're getting there, and we did go on some, bike rides together, which I think she's. I think she. I think she's not too keen on the bike rides at this point, because I do tend to just go off without her obviously behind me, so I do have to slow down a lot. So I just got to be very mindful of that. It's a family ride, not an endurance ride.
Yeah. So do you get all of the nutrition that you need from your meals then, or do you use any additional supplementation or products to help support your body when you're training?
Do you know, that's a good question. Through my relationship with AOR, I did the blueprint test, which is obviously the DNA, which gives me a full report on my DNA and my body's makeup. And actually, through that and my connection to AOR, once I got my results back there, I spoke with a sports performance doctor, and he was fantastic. Again, talking about resources, I can't thank people enough here. So he put me on a conference call with him. Once I got my report back, I take actually 3 AOR products for that. One of the products is called Gander 600, great for endurance athletes. It's vegan and gluten free as well, which is great. Take an NAC product, great for cardio health and breathing. And also after my workouts, I take another AOR product called Magnesium Synergy, great for muscle function. It's got electrolytes in it to replace those after you've been out on a 2-hour run or a 4-hour bike ride, and also stabilizes your blood sugar as well. So those 3 supplements for me have been fantastic. And once I start going super, super hard from January and getting ready for my Ironman, there's a couple of other products I want to throw in there as well. So yeah, the supplements have been a great help for sure.
So is the Ironman your next big goal then?
Yeah, it's funny. So I finished again, going back to this first 10K, I felt great when I crossed the finish line, just over an hour. And from the 10K, sorry, I then decided to do a half a marathon to a full marathon. Just done my second marathon. I had to do it virtually this year, obviously due to COVID. I broke my first marathon time by 35 minutes. Again, going back to the heart rate training. Then I went on to a half Ironman, and my big goal is the big one. I should have been doing that in Penticton in Canada in August, but unfortunately that got pushed back due to COVID. So I've got another year of this, and it's part of my lifestyle. And yeah, that's the big one for me. All I want to do is finish. So I've got 17 hours to do all the 3 segments. And if I can get under that finish line within under 17 hours, that'll be a 3.5-year journey from couch to Ironman for me, which is fantastic.
That is amazing. You mentioned heart rate training. What exactly is that?
Yeah, so basically the heart rate training is, so many people think, to get into running, it's just a case of, putting a pair of runners on and off you go. It's certainly not like that. Through my triathlon coach, what he did was, I met him over at his house there, and basically had a heart rate monitor. Every 2 minutes, he increased the speed. He was just pinpricking my finger, and just measuring my lactate acid. And then when it got to a certain level, that basically determined my heart rate, which is 133 beats a minute. When I'm running. So basically what I need to do is keep my heart rate lower or at 133 beats per minute for optimal performance, basically. And when I first started, my heart rate was considerably higher than that, and gassing after 10 or 15 minutes. So when I found my optimum heart rate during this, I just continued running forever. I literally finished this marathon in 4 hours, 10 minutes back, a month or 2 ago. And I felt like I could run forever. Number one, because I kept my heart rate at that level, and it's just slow and steady wins the race in that regard. And the more I tend to run, the quicker I get, but my heart rate still stays the same. So I'm not using that blood sugar, I'm using body fat, which enables you to continue on.
Right. That's interesting, because I think, I know for me, if I'm running, I'm trying to sprint my way as fast as I can, and then yeah, it's true. You hit a wall, right? You're done, basically.
Absolutely,
you use up everything you have. So
yeah, it's so funny, during the very first marathon, I was kind of went off the seat of my pants and kind of did it on my own. And then, through this gentleman that I actually met, he introduced the heart rate training for me. And, for me, it's, even some of my friends that are at the finish line on my first and my second, when I came across the line at the second one, said, Chris, you don't even look tired. And, I was absolutely fine. I could have carried on and run an ultra marathon, which is, a 50K. I could have run that easy. So it's funny how your body operates, and with the right tools and the right, nutritional information and heart rate information, how far you can push yourself if you've got that information at hand.
Yeah, absolutely. So this has been fantastic. I think it's really interesting, the journey that you've been on here and how far you've come. And we're definitely going to be rooting for you for your race next year as well, and your training up until then. If there's people in the community who want to get in touch with you and maybe run with you or learn from you further, how would they go about doing that?
That's a good question, Cass. Thank you. Yeah, I do have an Instagram account. That's probably the best way of getting hold of me. My handle on Instagram is Red Devil Bunks. You can always personally message me. I do typically run, 3 or 4 times a week, ranging from 5K to probably 30, to be honest with you. So yeah, got a great community there. A couple of my neighbors are big bike riders too. So went on 125K last week, 50K the week before. So it's all about your schedule and kind of finding that balance, around your family. So, but the best way of getting a hold of me is Instagram for sure. Yeah. So thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much again for joining us. And to all the listeners, thank you for hopping on today. We hope that you join us again next week for more ways to supplement your health.
Yeah, thank you, Cassie.
Thank you for listening to Supplementing Health. For more information about our guests, past shows, and future topics, please visit aor.ca/podcast or aor.us/podcast. Do you have a topic you want us to cover? We invite you to engage with us on social media to request a future topic or email us at marketing@aor.ca. We hope you tune in again next week to learn more about supplementing your health.